Ah, the irony of life. Isn't it strange how the very people who once held your heart, the ones you gave your all to, can turn out to be the ones who break you? They thought they could toss you aside and treat your love like it was nothing more than a fleeting moment, a disposable piece of their world. They underestimated you, believing that your kindness was weakness and your loyalty was something they could take for granted. But life has a way of balancing the scales, doesn't it? The same people who disrespected you, who tore you down, are now the ones who are lost, broken, and left to face the consequences of their own actions. And you've risen above it all, standing tall in the light they never thought you'd find. The truth is, they never saw the strength you held within, and now they're the ones left to deal with the mess they created. They thought they could dispose of you easily, didn't they? They believed your love, your loyalty, and your patience were all things that could be tossed aside whenever it suited them. To them, you were just another chapter in their story, a temporary convenience they could walk away from without a second thought. They underestimated the depth of your worth, convinced that their actions wouldn't come with consequences. But here's the twist, what they didn't realize is that you were never the problem. You were the strength they needed, the stability they relied on, and now, as you step away, they are left to face the chaos they created. You were never disposable, they just failed to see that until it was too late. Oh, how the tables have turned. Remember when they thought they could treat you like you were nothing? When they disrespected you, pushed you aside, and figured they could walk all over you without a care in the world? Well, here's the kicker, karma doesn't work on their schedule. Now, look at them. All those people they once chased for validation. The same ones who once elevated them are now the ones tearing them apart. Isn't it rich? They wanted to be invincible, untouchable, but life had a different plan. The very thing they thought they could discard, your kindness, your loyalty, has become the one thing they can't replace, and now they're drowning in their own mess. They thought they were playing a game, but now they're losing it all. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The arrogance they once wore like armor is now nothing more than a mask slipping off, revealing desperation beneath. You can see it, can't you? The same people who once walked with their heads held high, acting as if nothing could touch them, are now scrambling, grasping at anything to hold on to. The pride they once flaunted has been replaced by a hollow panic. Their every move is now driven by fear, not confidence. It's almost poetic, isn't it? Watching them crumble, piece by piece, as the very world they thought they controlled slips through their fingers. The irony is too rich. They thought they could break you, yet here they are, broken by the weight of their own actions, drowning in the same chaos they once caused. Isn't it something to watch? The very people who once disrespected you, who thought they could take advantage of your kindness, are now paying the price for their actions. The same individuals who belittled you and dismissed your worth are now learning the painful lesson of what it feels like to be treated with indifference. They once ignored your value, taking you for granted, but now the tables have turned. The people they once sought approval from are turning their backs on them, and the respect they thought they could demand is slipping away. It's almost like the universe is teaching them the very lesson they tried to avoid, the sting of being mistreated, the coldness of rejection, and the bitter taste of their own disregard. But here's the turning point, the moment where you shine brighter than ever. While they're still tangled in the mess they made, you've broken free. You've turned every hurt, every betrayal, into a stepping stone for your growth. The pain they caused you didn't break you, it made you stronger, more resilient, and more determined to thrive. You found your peace and your power, and you've realized that your worth was never tied to their validation. You've risen above it all, and now you're walking a path they could never have imagined for you. Your strength, your inner fire, is unshakable now, and the best part, You did it without them. You've reclaimed your life, your purpose, and nothing can ever take that away. While they remain trapped in their own regret, you're soaring toward a future that's all yours, more powerful than they could ever have dreamed. The ultimate revenge? It's not in retaliation or bitterness, it's in the peace, clarity, and strength you've found within yourself. While they're still drowning in the consequences of their actions, you're thriving. The transformation you've gone through is the most powerful message you can send. You've become the person they never thought you could be, stronger, wiser, and completely at peace. Your growth, your ability to rise above their betrayal, is the stark contrast to the misery they're living in. As they wrestle with regret and sorrow, you're out here building the life they could never have imagined for you, and that, my friend, is the sweetest form of revenge. Your happiness, your success, is proof that you were never the problem, they were. Karma, the quiet force that always finds its way. It doesn't rush, doesn't need your permission, it simply arrives when the time is right. And oh, how sweet it is to watch. As you move forward, leaving behind the wreckage of your past, they remain trapped in the consequences of their own making. The very people who once tore you down are now left to face the emptiness of their choices. It's poetic, really, the way their arrogance has dissolved into regret, their confidence into desperation. While they drown in the mess they created, you are walking a new path, one that's brighter, fuller, and free of the toxicity they tried to chain you with. You've moved on, found your peace, while they are still lost in the ruins of their own actions, haunted by the truth they refuse to see. The satisfaction isn't in watching them suffer, it's in knowing that you were right all along and that life has given you the justice you deserved. The pain they're feeling now? It's all they're doing. Karma doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't need your approval, it simply arrives when the time is right, and when it does, it hits harder than any revenge ever could. They thought they could treat you however they wanted, but now they're the ones suffering the consequences of their own choices. The bitterness they once served you is now the very thing they're choking on. They tried to walk all over you to break you, but life had other plans. Their downfall wasn't a coincidence, it was the result of their own actions, the price they have to pay for every unkind word and every betrayal. And while they're trapped in the consequences of their recklessness, you've moved on, living the life they never thought you could. Now, as they suffer, they're starting to realize what they lost, the one person who truly cared, the one who stood by them when no one else would. But here's the truth they can't escape, it's too late. While they're left grappling with regret, you've already moved on. You no longer need them, their validation, or their empty apologizes. You've learned to value yourself in ways they never could, and that's something they'll never have again. They thought they could discard you without consequence, but now they're stuck in a reality where they can't replace what they lost. You were the one who gave them unconditional love, the one who supported them, and now, as they face the consequences, they realize that no one will ever give them the same loyalty, the same care. But that's their burden to bear, not yours. You've outgrown them, and you don't need anyone who didn't appreciate your worth. The emotional distance between you and them has grown so wide, it's almost unrecognizable. While they're still trapped in the past, clinging to what they thought they could replace, you've evolved into someone stronger, wiser, and unbothered by their absence. They can search for replacements all they want, but nothing will ever compare to what they had with you. They can't replicate the love, the loyalty, and the authenticity you gave them. What they thought was expendable was actually irreplaceable, and now they're left grasping at hollow connections that will never measure up. You've moved beyond their reach, no longer defined by their mistreatment. You're building a life they'll never be a part of, and that's something they'll have to live with, knowing they can never undo the damage they caused. You've emerged stronger, wiser, and free. The toxicity that once held you down is now nothing but a distant memory. You've broken free from the chains they tried to place on you, and now you stand tall, unshaken by the past. The regret they carry is their burden to bear, a weight they'll never be able to shed. Their mistakes are etched in time, a constant reminder of what they lost, someone who genuinely cared, someone they thought they could dispose of. But while they spiral in their own regret, you've moved on, thriving, building a future that doesn't include them. The best part? You don't need them anymore. You've reclaimed your power, your peace, and your worth. Your victory isn't just in leaving them behind, it's in embracing the life you deserve, a life free of their negativity and betrayal. Let them carry their remorse, while you soar to heights they'll never reach. Your success and peace are the ultimate revenge. They thought they could break you, but instead, they've only paved the way for your rise. Now, you're thriving, unbothered, unchained, and moving forward with a clarity and strength they'll never have. You found the peace they could never give you, and that's something they'll never be able to touch. As for them, they're stuck in the consequences of their own making, trapped in a cycle of regret and misery. They can try to move on, but they'll never escape the chaos they created. You, however, will never go back to that life. You've built something stronger, something they can never be a part of, and that's the sweetest form of justice. As you move forward, let your happiness and peace speak louder than any words ever could. Your success, your strength, your ability to rise above it all, this is the message they'll never be able to ignore. Their regret will never outweigh the life you're building, a life free from their toxicity and deceit. They may carry their remorse forever, but that will never stop you from soaring to new heights. You've reclaimed your power, and nothing they feel will ever dim the light you've found within yourself. So keep moving forward, unbothered and unstoppable, because in the end, your rise is the greatest revenge. Throughout this journey, we've explored the raw pain of betrayal and mistreatment, the agony of being discarded by those we once trusted. But as the story unfolds, we see the undeniable power of karma and how poetic justice inevitably catches up with those who sowed cruelty. Their downfall is not a stroke of luck, but a consequence of their own actions. In contrast, you've shown the true strength of resilience, rising from the ashes of their mistreatment and transforming pain into growth. Your ultimate victory lies in finding peace, success, and empowerment, while they remain trapped in their own regret. You've moved beyond their reach, and your happiness and triumph stand as the final testament that no amount of regret will ever match the power of your rise.